This is episode number 274 of the Homeowner Show. Whether you're DIY or looking to hire, we're here to help you find the best information and options for you and your home. My name is Kevin Hackett, and here with me is Craig Williams.
Hello, and welcome to the Homeowner Show. We're so glad you could join us for another live episode. We're back in the studio, Kev.
We're back. I didn't know if we'd ever get back, man.
We made it. We survived a freeze.
Well,
It wasn't as bad as the one before.
well, you say that.
There was a lot more car wrecks this time.
Yeah, well, we had it was weird because I don't think anybody expected it to be quite as bad as it was.
It got colder than they predicted.
Yeah, well, not just that. I think that the wind was worse, which made the feels like so much worse.
Yep.
And because of that, a lot of things changed. And one of the things that changed, you said it wasn't as bad. It was worse for me.
Well,
because we had a problem.
uh-huh.
And I think I told you.
Hey, you called me. I remember.
Yeah, I called. And we woke up. Let's see. Everything went south on Sunday. Monday was fine. Everybody was home because it was
Right.
holiday. Tuesday, everybody was out of school. But we woke up Tuesday with no water, which we live on a well.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm going, okay.
Things have gone awry.
Yeah, and I'm going, okay. Well, it could be a lot of things. We've had issues here and there with our well, and we've never had a well before. Like, this is the first time living on property that we've ever had that. So we're learning how to deal with this. Well, we've had issues where, like, it's just a breaker, right? So I go out and kind of start examining things, and I find, well, all the breakers are on, so that's not the issue.
Right.
And so, long story short, we did have a pipe running from the wellhead. So, anatomy of a well, real quick. Everybody needs to know. So you got the well, and you got a pump.
The well is a giant hole in the ground.
Giant hole in the ground. You put a pump down there, connected to a pipe that goes all the way up to the wellhead.
Mm-hmm.
The wellhead then distributes the water to a holding tank that's pressurized, and that then distributes water to your house,
Right.
or wherever else you.
That's how you achieve water pressure.
That's where you get. The tank is pressurized, so the pipes from the wellhead to the tank froze,
Okay.
and oddly enough, the one pipe I knew was a water pipe that goes straight into the tank. I knew that, and it's been wrapped since I moved there. The other pipe I didn't even know was a water pipe, and it's never been covered, ever. Even last year during the crazy
really?
freeze, never been covered, and we didn't have any issues.
And that's the one that froze?
That's the one that froze. And so what happened was the pump was pumping to what they call a dead head.
Uh-huh.
The well head couldn't go anywhere, so it was dead. So what happened was the pump was pumping water, but the way the pump cools itself is water travels through the pump and cools it. But if it doesn't go anywhere, then it just sits there and churns, and it starts getting hot. The pump itself gets hot.
Yeah.
And
burns
hotter
the
and hotter
burns the
and
pump
hotter and
up.
hotter. It didn't burn the pump up, but it did melt the PVC that it was threaded to. And I don't think I even showed you. Whenever they were pulling it up, the pump was literally hanging by the electrical wire.
Oh, geez.
And thankfully, our well guys are smart, and they tape that thing like crazy. Because otherwise, I mean, if it's swinging or anything, it won't make it up through the pipe.
Yeah.
And but they got it up, and basically, I mean, they don't really know what's going on until they get the pump out of the ground. So they got the pump out of the ground. They're like, "Look, man, like I don't see any major damage to the pump, but we can't open it up and find out what's inside the casing. But if those turbines inside have dislodged or melted or anything,
Right.
then you're going to have a problem.
Yeah.
And then whatever labor you're going to incur by us just putting this thing back in, you're going to have to incur again.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be a month from now. It could be 3 years from now. We have no idea.
Right.
And he was like, so you can take the risk. And he said, this thing pumps 15 gallons a minute, which I was like, dang, that's a lot. That's a lot of water.
Yeah.
It pumps 15 gallons a minute, and it may pump 10 gallons a minute. You don't know. It may pump 5 gallons a minute. But we won't know. And he was like, so, take the risk and do what you want to do, or we can just put a new pump in. Dude, we just put a new pump in July.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because the pump did die. I mean, it was just at the end of its lifespan in July. And we were in Branson, actually. We're going to talk about Branson a little bit tonight.
Yeah.
We were in Branson with my family, and I get a call from my wife. She goes, we got no water. I've called the guy, and he's got to come out. They had to replace the pump. And I elected to replace the pump. Because, dude, I just didn't want to.
How much are one of those? Do you not want to? Are you still
It's
hurting?
a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. It was
Pumps are not cheap.
No, it was the entire bill. Well, the labor included, it was $3,700.
Jeez,
That's the second time in 6 months I've done that.
That's not fun.
No, not fun at all. And
they're not warranted at all, I guess.
Well, no, they are, except for natural disasters. They're not warranted against lightning strikes. They're not warranted. Yeah, naturally. They're not warranted against freeze. They're not warranted against. This was an interesting. They're not warranted against portable generators, which is what I have.
Right.
I mean, I got the biggest portable generator you can get that runs on natural gas. I got the biggest one on the market. But if something happens while it's connected to that someday, then
tough noogies.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I get it. I mean, I understand, like, they can't, I mean, at that point, you got voltage issues. You've got all sorts of things that can happen. But,
like, it's frustrating to, like, run up against that. But at the same time, I think it's good for people to understand, like, why it is that way.
Sure.
Because, I mean, and I think, like, specifically, like, with the generator, I mean, like, sometimes people just, like, jerry-rig stuff.
Right.
And like, the wrong voltage will run through that pump or whatever. Like, and so, like, since they have no control over that, they can't warranty that.
No, it's absolutely, it's beyond their control.
Right.
So whenever they don't have a controlled environment,
right,
then they can't warranty. And I get that. But man, they put that new pump in and everything's great again. I will tell you this. We wound up getting low water pressure in a few places. And I was like, dude, I was tired. Like, it had been a long week. And plus, just all of this going on. And so I went to bed, and I was like, I don't know. Like, we may have to call them tomorrow and see. I said, honestly, I haven't even gone out to the tank to make sure it's pressurized correctly. I don't even know. But they checked it all before they left. The next day, I woke up, and I was like, you know what? This thing's been sitting for like 2 days. I need to take the shower head off and just see
what's in there.
Yeah. And it was just gunked up.
I bet.
With that filter inside. So I cleaned that out and everything's good. So I will tell you, if like around your house, especially like kitchen faucet, shower head, any of that, like if you wind up feeling like, man, I wish my water pressure was a little bit higher.
Yeah.
Take that sucker off and check your filter.
Oh, for sure.
Because 9 times out of 10, there's nothing wrong with your water.
Right.
It's your faucet that's doing something. So anyway, it was like, I look at it on a couple levels. I'm like, okay, if I'm going to have an issue, I'm glad it's outside my house. Mm-hmm. I'm glad that the water didn't come into my house before there was a problem.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a pretty controlled situation. I mean, it's frustrating, but okay, I'll write it off. And, it is one of those deals.
It's part of it, man.
It's part of it.
You don't have a water bill?
No, I don't. And that's the thing is like, no, I don't have a $3,700 water bill otherwise. But
make that up over 10 years.
It's fine. Over 10 years, it's fine. But I own my water.
Yeah.
And there's something to be said about that. And,
for sure.
And I can do whatever. Like whenever I fill my pool up every year, because I drain it. When I fill my pool up every year, I don't care. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Like it might cost me $10 in electricity.
Yeah.
But that's it. You know,
My water.
Yeah, it's my water. I can do with it what I want to, and it's good water too. Like
Dude, well water is always better.
It is
Every time it's better.
Yeah.
Like I've never had I mean, I'm sure there's been wells that have like gotten tainted or whatever, but like if it's a good well, well water is always better.
It is. And
I grew up on well water.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, that was frustrating.
Yeah.
But I will tell you this, so 2 nights later, it froze again. So that was like Friday night, I think it was.
Yeah.
It froze again. And so
it wasn't as hard of a freeze.
It wasn't. It got down to like 22 or something like that. And it was only for like 10 hours. But let me tell you what I did. And we're gonna build like a house to put over that thing.
Right.
And like something I can insulate and put a heater in.
Yeah.
Just to future proof it, right? But until that happens, because it's kind of in the middle of the yard, so you can't just leave it there forever based on where it's at. So, but I've got fiberglass insulation, just like they're like, I don't know, like maybe 4 or 5 inches wide.
Yeah.
Wrapped the whole pipe. And then I came back with one of those pipe insulations, you know, the one you slit up the side and just put around it. So I put that around it. And then I used insulated tape to tape that thing closed. And then I used it. I'd never seen this before. It's a 10 mil pipe wrap.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 10 mil is pretty thick.
Yeah.
But it's tape. And it's super strong, but it's weatherproof. It's windproof, waterproof. And I wrapped that after that. And I'm like, okay, that's about as good as I can do for every day being out in the open, you know? And so we'll see. We'll see what happens. And, you know, if in the future I'll build a house and it should be totally fine.
Yeah.
But it was frustrating.
I bet. How long were you without water?
2 days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It was like 2 days plus the morning that they came. So, and 2 of those mornings were days that my kids need to go to school. My wife, you know, had to go to work too. So thankfully, you know, we have friends and relatives, and we just went over to someone else's house and showered. Well, I didn't. They did. But
so no water at your guest house in the back?
No.
Oh, dang.
No, I mean, because everything runs off the well.
Okay.
Speaking of, I need to go. I turned off all of my like out spigots, like at my shop and everywhere else. I can go turn those back on. I turned those off before the freeze and drained them because I don't need those. But yeah, she was out of water too. So we went and just loaded gallon jugs up just to have stuff to flush the toilet with, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So we made it. We figured it out.
Yeah.
But I don't want to do it again.
No.
I will tell you, though, that right there is the reason, and some of you have been listening for a while, that's the reason that I bought a generator at my house. Because at my house, if the electricity goes out, the well doesn't work.
The well doesn't work, yeah.
And so, you know, you really got to have, you know, that well moving. And so we bought a generator for it.
What's interesting about that is I think it's little moments like that, like when there's like a freeze and a pipe bursts and like then you have to shut the whole house down.
Yep.
Or, you know, there's a hurricane and the power's out for a couple of days.
Yep.
Or whatever. I think those are the moments when people it's a blessing in disguise because it's a realization as to how ill prepared a lot of people are.
Oh yeah.
To sustain themselves for 2 days.
Oh, I mean, 2 days. 2 days is not that long.
It's not.
But if you don't have any water,
2 days is a long time.
2 days is a very long time at that point. And you can, and not only that, like if you run out of, like if you have an all electric house, like our friend Eric is listening, or at least he was, because he put a message up. He said the answer is always to lay more pipe. That's pretty good. But
he's not wrong.
No, he's not. But you know, if you're out where he is and you got to have an electric house, then your electricity goes out. You can't cook.
Was this Eric G?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is no.
But
The gasless West.
Exactly. Anyway, pretty funny.
Oh,
So, well, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
We, I mean, the freeze was fine. So, well, I mean, I say it was fine. We had one busted pipe, but it was by the pool equipment,
Okay.
and it was a supply line,
Okay.
and so we just capped it.
Oh, so yeah. Worry about it later.
It's nothing we even need. I mean, like,
Yeah. Oh, ever?
no, not really.
Oh.
It was a whoever was here before us had a ice maker refrigerator on the party deck,
Okay.
and we don't have that. And so
Right.
it was the supply line for like the refrigerator,
Okay.
and
Who cares?
so like we just capped it.
Yeah.
And then just went on about our day.
Yeah.
Which I mean, by the way, they I didn't even realize this. My father-in-law brought these home. I didn't realize that they made a shark bite like termination cap.
Really?
Yes.
Well, that's nice.
It's super nice.
Sheesh.
So like we just cut the pipe, pulled it aside, stuck the shark bite on there, walked away.
That's nice.
No glue, nothing.
Huh.
It was awesome.
Yeah, that is nice.
So
Oh, speaking of, let me say this real quick, and then we can move on. But I started doing like research. Okay, like what can I do to keep this thing from these pipes in the middle of the yard from freezing? And I came across insulated heat tape.
I've heard about this.
Yeah. And like it gets really good reviews.
Mm-hmm.
It's really not too terribly expensive. I mean, whenever you kind of look at it for what we needed, we probably just need 3 feet of it, and we didn't need a lot. But you can get like 50 foot of it if you need, or 100 foot even. You just have to have a 110 outlet, which we've got right there by it. No big deal. And it says it works on PVC.
Right.
Well, I talked to my well guy about it, and he goes, "Man," he said, I know people that use it, but I've seen 2 instances where it just melted the pipe."
Dang.
And he goes, "That's a big problem."
Yeah.
And he goes, "So, I mean, I can't recommend it."
Right.
He said, and this was very interesting.
Do you think it was like improperly installed? I mean, because like I don't want to hear from the heat tape people like, hey, like you're messing with our product.
It's very possible. I mean, but here's the thing.
But I mean, like you know that plumber guy. I mean, he probably could have like sold you some heat tape right there if you really wanted to.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
yeah, absolutely could. And it's one of those deals where you go, okay, properly installed or not, it happened.
Right.
Okay. If it's not properly installed, then now you got to hire someone to come install it properly in order for this not to be a quote unquote problem. It becomes cumbersome at that point, right? So, especially when literally you're supposed to take it and just like, spiral it around your.
Well, that's what I'm wondering, right? Is like, this is something we run into our industry all the time. It's like, well, you read the instructions, but then you thought that they didn't apply to you.
Oh, you put the right amount of mixture in the tank, but you did it twice.
Right. Right. And so you, and I don't know anything about heat tape, how to put it on. I know nothing about it, but I'm wondering if, like you said, like, well, just keep a gap on your spiral of like 2 inches or something. And they're like, oh, well, I really don't want it to freeze, so I'm going to make the gap, 2 centimeters.
Yeah, and I think that on a metal or copper pipe probably wouldn't matter, but on PVC,
probably, yeah. Well,
PVC,
copper's kind of weird, man, because you got to sweat that pipe, and that's what if you heat it up too much, I don't know how hot the heat tape gets.
I don't think it gets super.
I actually
hot.
might be more concerned about putting it on copper than I would PVC.
Maybe. All I know is that he advised against it. And this was something he said that I found very interesting. He goes, "Man, believe it or not, the last 4 years have been colder than we've ever seen." And he said, "So we're still learning what to tell people to do." And he said, He said we've had harder freezes the last 4 years than we've ever seen in 25.
Yeah,
which for 25 is not a large sample,
sure,
obviously, but for them, 25 years in business,
that's a career.
That's a career, and so whenever you don't have hard evidence, data to go, this is what we've done before, and this is what we know works,
right?
And you can't recommend to your customers what to do. That's a problem, and they recognize that they weren't they're like, just, man, best case scenario is to wrap it and build a house over it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's foolproof, really.
Yeah, building the well house is, that's key.
Yeah, and we've got that. I mean, our tank is in a heated and air conditioned building.
Mm-hmm.
But that wellhead isn't.
Right.
So anyway. Well, let's talk about
this episode is brought to you by
let's talk about that.
Lone Star Appliance Repair.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Lone Star Appliance Repair. This is the place. I was actually in conversation about Lone Star Appliance Repair the other day. Their phone number, by the way, is 936-647-2364. It's right there on the screen if you're watching online. I was talking to someone about repairing their appliances the other day, and it's very interesting because the tendency for everybody is just throw the appliance away.
Sure.
My parents actually just had this happen. Something happened. Their fridge stopped working. They're like, we're just going to go buy another one. And I'm like, why don't you just get it repaired? And they're like, well, we've heard this, we've heard that, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, find somebody in your area that is reputable. And that's one of the things that I think is the most important. Someone that's not just going to come in and sell you a bunch of parts or come do a diagnostic and then tell you we can't fix it.
Right.
Whatever. Someone who's reputable that's going to take care of you. And Lone Star Repair does that.
Yeah.
We've used them. Right? Like they're going to take care of you.
Yeah, every time.
So, every time.
So, I mean, we had them out today.
Oh, really?
We were supposed to have them clean our washing machine, which most people don't even know that you need to have that cleaned from time to time.
They've got a maintenance system for that.
They do. They have a maintenance plan for that. And just communication error. They didn't realize that ours were stacked. And they're like, we're really supposed to schedule this with 2 people or a dolly.
Oh, that makes sense.
In order to make this proper. And they were like, well, we usually charge like a service fee just for being out here, but like not today.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So they're gonna reschedule and come back out and get our washing machines. If you don't clean them, can be the smelliest thing
yes, it can.
ever. And if you can watch all the YouTube videos you want on how to clean it, I don't want to do it. Even if I was confident in like being able to put it back together, which I'm not.
No, of course not.
Like I still don't want to deal with the smell.
Right. Because inevitably you wind up with 2 extra screws.
Something.
And you're like, wait a minute. I took those out of somewhere.
Yeah. And I am not a detail person. And they're just not going back.
Not going to go back.
So I'm either here's what's probably going to happen if I do that.
Yeah.
I'm going to flip it on and see if it works.
Of course.
And it'll probably work.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't,
what are you going to do?
I'm buying a new one.
Right.
So
it's just, at that point, it would have been smarter for you to just have them come out and do it for you.
It's a $6,000 to $1,000 mistake at that point.
Right.
And whereas I could have just paid somebody else to do it.
Right.
So
exactly.
I'm going to pay somebody else. I'm going to call Lone Star Appliance Repair. Give them a call. They'll get you taken care of. Phone numbers on the screen. Links in the show notes if you want to click on the website. And you can text them.
I love that, dude.
Yeah.
So, maybe my favorite thing.
Text them. Send them some emojis.
That's right.
I love it.
Just random emojis.
That's right. We love you guys. Thanks for supporting the Homeowner Show.
Cool.
Yeah. So really, tonight we're doing a bit of a trip recap because we just took a big trip to Branson.
Yeah. I didn't even know y'all were going, man.
I know.
Jerk.
Well, you'll get over it.
We'll see.
Yeah. So we stayed in a really cool place right on the lake. It was right across from the I don't know where the Bass Pro Shops is.
Oh yeah.
So we were right across the lake from that.
Okay.
Which was really cool because we could go watch like the fireworks and the water show that they have there every night.
Yeah, they got like a massive zip line there.
They do have a massive zip line.
Like across the river.
Yeah. So
that's awesome.
So how do I talk about Branson? So there were parts of it that were amazing.
Is this your first time to Branson?
No.
Oh.
Oddly enough, it was my second time to Branson.
Okay.
The first time I ever went to Branson was with Micah.
Oh.
And it was just me and him.
That's weird.
And like really, like the only thing, we stopped in and we had dinner
Okay.
and then we left.
That doesn't count.
It's
Really, I mean, and now that you've been to Branson, you know that doesn't count.
it kind of counted because we what do they call that place where the Bass Pro Shops is?
Yeah, it's the landing.
The
Branson Landing.
Okay, so we walked through Bass Pro Shops, and then we went and had dinner somewhere in the landing,
Okay.
and then we left.
Okay.
And we drove the drag. I mean, like we saw everything that was there. But we just that was all we had time for, and we were gonna go through Branson anyway.
76, right?
What?
Isn't that the name of the road?
I have no idea.
76? It's 76. I'm
Sure.
pretty sure.
Let's just call it.
Yeah.
They'll rename it.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
The
The Homeowner Show 76.
That's right. That's right. We heard it here.
We made it famous.
Right,
Not you guys that have been performing there for like the last
Forever.
60 years.
That's right.
It's us.
Right.
So we went there for two reasons. One was to go to Silver Dollar City,
Yes.
and the other one was to go see Queen Esther.
Oh, yes. Both yeses.
So have you seen Queen Esther?
I've seen, but yes, I have.
So here's we'll start off with the good. I have been to many Broadway shows.
Yeah.
Many over the years. Sometimes because I wanted to go, sometimes because I was forced to go.
I on the other hand go to them on purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, let me
Always.
Okay. Funny story about Broadway shows. When I think I was, and how old was I? I think I was like 16 or 17.
Okay.
And for Christmas one year, my mom said, I want to take everyone to go see a show. And her and my sister had gone to New York and seen Stomp.
Oh, okay.
And they loved it.
Yeah.
And there was some sort of show playing in Houston, which if you don't know, is Houston still number 2?
Yeah. The last time I checked, it was.
So
believe it or not.
Yeah, Houston is number 2 when it comes to theater.
Theater district. Yeah.
Yeah, and like that's impressive considering there's like Chicago and London
And L.A.
and L.A.
Yeah.
I mean, like there's some cool theater towns, but Houston's number 2 after New York.
It's crazy.
Like I don't know that anybody will ever top New York, but Houston's number 2. So you can see some incredible shows in Houston. And she was like, "Hey, I found this show. It's just like Stomp. We want to go see it. Let's go see it." And so it was either like a few days. And you'll understand why my confusion on the dates here in just a second, because I don't know what date this holiday's on. But it was like right before or right after Christmas. And so we go and we're sitting in the audience and we're there a little bit early.
Was it Blue Man Group?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Um,
All right. Keep going.
So we're sitting in the audience and we're dressed pretty nice. And all of a sudden, other people start walking in the theater.
Okay.
Which normally wouldn't notice other people walking in the theater, except they're not dressed like us.
Oh.
Most of them are dressed in what looks like African robes.
All right.
And it like you see like one or two and you're like, oh, cool, good for you, man.
Yeah.
But then it's like half the audience.
Oh.
And we're like, what's going on?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
that's different.
What's happening
That's
right
different.
now? And so then the show starts, and it's kind of like Stomp,
Okay.
but the narrative of the show is how the white man stole the drum.
Oh.
And
Oh.
once I figure out that that's what the show's about,
Uh-huh.
I jump on my phone,
Right.
and I'm like, what? So I look it up, and lo and behold, the day that we go to the show is Kwanzaa.
Oh, interesting.
And so everyone's there to celebrate Kwanzaa.
Yeah.
And this show about finding your rhythm.
Interesting.
And I'm looking around going, I didn't steal nothing, y'all.
I didn't do it. I didn't do
I
it.
didn't take it.
I don't know where it is.
If I had it, I'd give it to you.
Give it to you right
now.
Right now.
So it was so
Wow.
anyway, all that to say, we've been going to see shows for a long time.
Sure.
And I will say this, as Queen Esther is probably the best, if not the best show I've been to ever.
Interesting.
Ever.
That's interesting.
Just really, really good.
So one of the, I'm curious about a couple of things.
Uh-huh.
What about it? Because I've seen 4 shows there, I believe.
The
now.
Sound and Light Theater?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Not Sound and Light. Sound.
I think it's Sound and Light.
It's similar to that. Sight and Sound.
Sight and Sound.
Sight
You're
and
absolutely right. Yeah. Sight and Sound. My bad.
But the Sight and Sound Theater, I've seen 4. I've seen Esther. I've seen Jonah.
That one looks cool.
I've seen Noah.
Uh-huh.
And I've seen Joseph.
Okay.
And all of them are unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious, what was the thing that you went, oh wow?
Okay,
about it?
so one, I didn't know it was going to be as big.
What do you mean by that?
One, it's just a huge theater.
It's a huge theater.
I think it seats like 2,500.
It does.
So it's a huge theater.
And they sell out almost every show.
Yeah, they said like they over 700,000 because they run like a show a year.
Right.
And I think they're going to re-up Esther.
They might.
Just because it was so successful. But like they said over 700,000 just this past year went to go see
that one.
Seen Queen Esther.
Right.
But I didn't. So like I do this a lot. Like I try and go in with like zero expectations.
Sure.
Like if it's like a new experience, I try and not research it.
Sure.
Especially if it's something like somebody's invited me to.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if I research it, I'm going to go in with things that I already don't like about it.
Yeah.
And I don't like doing that to somebody else's art.
Sure.
So anyway, I did not realize it was that big. Mm-hmm. I did not realize it was a wraparound theater.
That is maybe one of the most impressive things.
Yeah, and
if
so
you don't know that.
Yeah, if you don't know that, and I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And so like when you're in there, it looks just like a regular theater, but then all of a sudden the sides open up.
Yep.
And it's not just that the sides open up, but like there's actual stage props and people and things happening at like 180 degrees.
180 degrees the entire
show. Yeah.
Like during the time when something is happening on the left side that people are talking and interacting with each other, there's still townspeople doing stuff on the other side as if all of this is happening in real time.
Right.
This is not a moment in time. This is like inclusive.
Yeah, it's very immersive.
Yeah.
And so I did know that there were going to be live animals.
Yeah, that's always.
And so I someone had told me that.
Yeah.
It was still impressive.
Oh yeah.
Because they while it is 180 degrees out in front of you, they bring the animals out in the aisles.
Yeah, right.
And
where are we all sitting?
Center.
Lower level or upper level?
Oh, lower level center.
Okay.
Yeah, like my mom went all out for this one.
Yeah, it's interesting because personally, I like the upper level better.
Oh, because you can kind of see everything?
Yes, because it's such a wraparound.
Yeah.
If you're in the front or in the middle anywhere, you have to like physically turn around to see everything.
Yeah.
And if you're in the back, you can.
I can see how you would like that. I liked where I was at because I felt more in the story.
Sure, I get that too.
So, but anyway, just incredible production.
Yeah.
And like I'm telling you, like I've been to Cats, I've been to Phantom, great shows.
I hated Cats.
I know that one song is good.
Yeah.
Everything else is just crap.
It's weird.
It's just, no, it's not.
It's weird.
It's dumb, is what it is.
That's also that.
So and like, I get it. Like it was a creative project. Blah 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 blah.
Whatever.
Didn't like it.
I didn't either.
But yeah, it was like every bit of that show was just great.
The talent was good.
Yep.
I mean, the singing was good.
The songs
music
were good.
Was good. Yeah. Like it was all. It's just very well done.
Yeah.
Very well done.
Yeah. So I was super impressed. So cool. The highlight of the trip for me.
Yeah, for sure.
So that was the main thrust of the trip.
Okay.
So my mother insisted that we go to Silver Dollar City.
Okay.
Which I'd like to go give it a second shot.
Okay.
Because it was like 30 degrees the whole time we were there.
Yeah. So when we went in into July, beginning of August,
I imagine it was lovely.
It was nice.
Mm-hmm.
It was hot, but it wasn't so hot that if you weren't like consistently cooling yourself down, you were miserable.
Right.
It was, but 30 is a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
And some of the rides you just can't even do.
They won't even open them.
Yeah, two of our favorite rides are water rides.
Mm-hmm.
And can't ride those.
So the whole reason we went is because we went on I think it was the 27th. No, we went on the 28th.
Okay.
They were closing the park on the 29th.
Okay.
And it's the last, so you could literally be like one of the last people to ever ride Fire in the Hole.
Oh, okay.
Because they're shutting it down forever
Are they?
after this season.
Really?
So it's gone.
Why?
Because they're replacing it with a newer version.
Oh, okay.
And it'd been open since like 1971 or something like that.
Yeah.
And you could tell.
It's rough.
It's
Dude,
but it's like their most famous ride.
I know. I made a mistake of going whenever we went. It was actually not crowded at all last time we went, and which was odd. I think people had started like going back to school and stuff like that. But I made the mistake of being like, let's ride this first. And it's my kids. And they're used to Disney.
Sure.
And most of the rides at Disney, even if they're intense, they're smooth.
Sure.
That one's a little tough. A little tough. Rylan rattled his brains out.
Oh, okay.
But beyond that, it was...
Yeah, I mean...
It's rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, good move on shutting it down.
Yeah, I agree.
But, like, we were, like one of the last ones to ever ride it.
That's cool.
So, that was cool. But that was, like, the only ride. I think there's, like, the water prison...
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
That one was open.
Okay.
So we got to ride that one. Everything else was closed.
Really?
Everything else.
The Time Traveler was closed?
Yep.
What?
Yep.
I didn't actually ride it because I knew my kids would like lose their ever-loving mind on that one.
Uh-huh.
But that one, if you don't know, if you're just listening, that one it's a roller coaster, but the seats move independently and they can swivel all the way around as you're riding. So you can get oddly disoriented in that one. Why they call it Time Traveler.
Right. So every ride that was outside was closed.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
And so like we had a few shows we could go to.
Okay.
And there was food.
Did you get the cinnamon bread?
No.
Is it called cinnamon bread? I think it's called cinnamon bread. It may be called something different than cinnamon bread, but if you didn't get it, you missed out.
I'm
Best thing
sure.
I've ever had.
Let me tell you, I missed out on a lot.
Okay.
There was a lot I missed out on that day.
Well, but you did do maybe the coolest thing at Silver Dollar City, didn't you?
Which is?
The cave.
Oh, yeah.
Dude.
That was the only thing. That was the only thing.
Redeeming quality.
The only redeeming quality about that day.
Was it not amazing?
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Here was what made it extra amazing.
Okay.
That thing is geothermal.
Oh, yeah. And so it was warmer inside there. So it was
by like almost 40 degrees.
Yeah, so it was super cold. Like it was cold when we were there.
Right.
And yeah, it stays a certain
It's like 68 degrees.
all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like when we got in, we are like, oh, thank Jesus.
I'm sure you did. Yep.
I mean, well, and like because they only have like so many tours a day, and
Right.
we hit the second to last one, and because I think the park closed at like 6 o'clock.
And it's one of those places where like it takes, isn't it like 2 hours?
It's like an hour and 15 minutes.
That's all?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I was thinking it took longer than that. Whatever it was, they're like, look, pee now.
Right.
Because you're not going to have another chance until you come out of this place.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're not wrong.
No, but the whole thing's incredible, man.
It
I mean,
absolutely
like
is.
they were telling us about how for the 100-year anniversary they flew 5 hot air balloons in the big cave,
Into it.
which I mean, incredible.
I know.
Absolutely incredible.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, like the waterfall was cool. I mean, like honestly, like the whole park is worth it if you go to the cave. I haven't ridden any of the roller coasters, but if you just see the cave,
You're right.
you're doing good.
You're not wrong. And I will tell you, the next time I go, I want to go to the Bat area. Like that's a different tour. It's called the Lantern Tour.
Yeah.
And you go in, they literally give you a lantern, and there's like, I think they said there's some crazy number, like 100,000 bats or something.
Yeah.
Like some stupid number, and I'm probably wrong on the number.
Yeah.
But it's pretty amazing.
So, let me tell you something else that's amazing. I had another company send me another pair of boots.
What?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
So this is
what do I have to do? Do I literally have to like sell my soul? What do I have to do?
I did not sell my soul.
Okay, well that's good.
So I'm just
Congratulations, Craig.
Thank you.
What you got?
So Rocky Boots sent me a pair, and this is the pair that they sent me.
Okay. Dude, hold those up just a little bit.
Right there.
There you go, dude.
Yeah. So
Square
now,
toe.
huh? Say what?
Square toe.
Square toe. It's got a rubber sole. These are actually work boots.
Yeah, they got grass on the bottom.
I've been working in them. So here's what I did. So they sent them to me, and like after Georgia Boots sent me their boots, and I had to break them in a little bit. Mm-hmm. I was like, all right, I'm gonna actually give these things like the most rigorous test I could possibly think of.
Okay.
So I wore them to Silver Dollar City.
No, you didn't.
And it was like the second time I had worn them.
All right. To a theme park?
To a theme park.
What?
Yeah, I know. And so
that was stupid.
Well, I was like, okay. They said that they're comfortable.
Yeah.
But they also said they're work, and so like they should be ready out of the box.
Like this is like Ariat level. That's what Ariat like. Yeah. That's what their whole big thing is.
Right.
Okay.
I will. And so here's what I'll say. When I put them on, they felt a little thin.
Okay.
And I was like, and so I had a little bit of trepidation about wearing them to the park. I was like, these feel a little bit thin on the bottom.
Okay.
But my feet did not hurt after that day.
Really?
I never once, I put them on in the morning going, okay, I need to be cognizant of my day because I'm wearing these boots because I want to give an honest review as to and how they do. And I feel like walking around a theme park, which is where I'm going to get 15 to 17,000 steps in.
Well, and that thing is up and down.
Right.
Silver City is treacherous.
I think it's also fair to point out it's a huge park.
It's big.
I mean, it's
big.
really, really big.
It's big, yeah.
I don't know how you could go into it expecting to see all of it in a day.
No, because beyond the rides and stuff, they've got shows.
Yes,
that's one of the cool things is they've got these actors out there, singers and actors and different.
And they're all
people.
pretty good.
They're all pretty good.
Yeah,
it's worth going to.
Yeah. So anyway, I wore them all day, and then when I got home, I was like, I didn't feel the need to take them off.
Weird.
I was like,
and awesome.
My feet actually feel really good. And the other thing is my problem with cowboy work boots is they usually have a really goofy looking sole on them.
Right.
And I don't know, if you look at these, man, it looks to me, it looks like a legit cowboy boot.
It's normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a work boot.
Right.
And so it just doesn't have that weird, clunky.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
And so, and which is why I picked them out. They told me I could pick out whichever pair I wanted.
Okay.
They just wanted me to check them out.
Okay.
And I got to say, the leather is holding up. They were super comfy.
Yeah.
The size I gave them, they sent me the right size. The size was perfect. Fit great.
Dude.
So right out of the box, I was I put them on and I was like, oh, I can go for a walk in these. It's not a big deal at all.
Well, and if it's 30 degrees at Silver Dollar City, wearing boots is not a bad move.
No.
Only because you wind up with, tennis shoes, nowadays, the most comfortable tennis shoes have mesh.
Right.
Your feet are going to freeze, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you put on a pair of boots, you got good leather surrounding, you're going to be all right.
So, yeah, a little bit more insulated.
Yeah.
I had on some wool socks that helped.
Sure.
So it's just super, super comfy. So they survived the Silver Dollar City experience.
That's pretty impressive.
Let me tell you, with all the rides closed, we did nothing but walk the whole day.
Well, that's all you can do.
That's all. And you had to walk just to stay warm.
Sure. I can
so
believe
it was
that.
Eat and walk. That's all you could do. So
it sounds kind of miserable. I'm not going to lie.
It was miserable.
Except for the shoes or the boots,
Yeah, honestly, the boots were the highlight of the day for me.
Yeah.
It was it's the only thing that doesn't hurt.
And how many stairs are in the cave?
Oh, geez. Well, the first thing you go down is a 60-foot flight of stairs.
Right. Yeah.
And that's just to get to the top of the big cave as you go down further into the cave.
Exactly. So, you're climbing, yeah.
Isn't it? It's like a mile and a half that you end up walking through that thing?
Yeah. It's a long way.
Yeah.
It's a long way.
So, and a lot of it's just kind of back and forth as you snake your way down to the bottom of that first cave.
Yeah.
So anyway, so yeah, Silver Dollar City was a bust. Rocky Boots,
not
awesome.
A bust.
And here's the thing, man, is I kind of did a suicide mission.
Okay.
I didn't take another pair of shoes with me.
Oh my gosh. Was that intentional?
Oh,
or
it was totally intentional,
dude.
because I was like, how else am I going to get like the test?
Dude.
Because otherwise I'm going to break it up into like little segments, and like I just need to like go all in on this thing.
You're nuts.
And if my feet die, my feet die.
There was a very good possibility that happened.
So they didn't.
Yeah.
So, and what was different from this pair from the other pair is this pair, as soon as I put them on, I did not feel the need to like do anything to break them in. Like they felt like ready to go out of the box. Yeah, the other ones are like it's thicker leather,
right?
And I knew I was going to break them in, but they'll probably last a long time. So I as far as like longevity goes, I can't say anything about these, but like as far as like right out of the box, being comfortable, being able to go and do a lot in them right away,
yeah,
perfect.
And with these, you can tell which feet they're supposed to go on.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, I posted that picture and I was like, he's not wrong.
They totally look like they're on the wrong foot.
They do.
Yes.
But like if you walk up to them, you're like, oh, that's the left. It doesn't look like the left, but that's the left.
You know that's the left. That's funny because the zipper's on the right. I'm just kidding.
All right, so I've got this other story for us.
All right.
I wanted to lay it on you.
Bring it.
Oh man, where'd it go? Okay, there we go.
You said it might surprise me, so we'll see.
Yeah, so this particular one is from CNN Business.
Okay.
And the title of the article is "Office Vacancy Rate Hits Record High," and so this is back from the first week in January. Let me see if I can read some of this for you. It says more office space is currently sitting empty in the United States than at any point since 1979.
Oh my goodness!
Said, and this is according to Moody's Analytics, which began tracking office leasing vacancies that year. So, ever since we've been tracking office vacancies, now is the highest that it's ever been.
Wow.
Now, it could have been higher prior to 1979, but we don't know because we haven't been tracking it. So, ever since we've been tracking it, it's the highest.
That's interesting.
Let's see here. Yeah, here it is. The national office vacancy rate rose to a record-breaking 19.6% in the fourth quarter of 2023. Moody's Analytics, that's the largest quarterly increase since the first quarter of 2021 and larger than the 19.3% level reached twice in 40 years.
Oh, my goodness.
The average pre-pandemic office vacancy rate was around 16.8. Let's see if I can find. I'm going to tell you something that I know to be true. I just don't know that it's in this article.
Okay.
Okay, it's not in this article.
Tell me. Lay it on me. I'll see if I believe you.
So that's the national average.
Right.
The
19.2. Is that what you said? 19 point something.
19.6, I think.
19.6.
Yeah, no, right now it's 19.6. The last highest one was 19.3.
Average.
19.3 was back in 1979.
Oh, jeez.
So 19.6 is what it is right now.
Right, okay.
That's the national average. Okay. Which means...
It's some high.
Yeah.
A lot higher.
Do you know which city has the largest commercial vacancy rate in the United States?
I'm going to take a wild guess and say Houston.
You got it, Bubba.
Wow.
And it's like over 20%.
Oh my goodness, dude.
Yeah.
Like, so I'll tell you this. I've actually had a weird observation over the last 3 months. So the last 3 months, whenever I go to work on Tuesdays, Mondays is not this way. I go in late on Wednesday, but on Tuesday,
I just looked it up.
What the rate is
in Houston? Yeah.
What is it?
22.3.
Oh my. 22%. We're almost at a quarter.
Yep.
Of all the offices in Houston are vacant. They're just sitting there with nobody in them.
Right.
What in the world?
So here's what I can tell you from that. One of the worst jobs that you could have right now is a commercial real estate lease agent.
Oh, I bet so.
So because normally you would look at that and go, guys, there's so much available.
You have your pick of anything.
Pick of the litter.
Want. Yeah.
But nobody wants it.
Nobody wants any of it. So, okay.
So this is the thing that I think to me, this is where it gets tricky, right? Because the whole deal with real estate agents was they were suing that company over the adjustable rates that they could charge on their commissions.
Right.
Right. But this is where you can actually have a competitive edge and be like, look, I want to get you into this commercial.
Right.
And I'm willing to lower my rate.
Yeah. Because I have to.
Because I can't move anything right now. And
Right.
But like what they're talking about doing is changing the rules to where people can't do that anymore.
Yeah, that's tough.
So
Yeah. So
sorry. Anyway.
So okay, completely anecdotally, Mondays and Tuesdays and Thursdays, I drive to my office at the same time every day. On Wednesdays, I drive at a different day, just because I go in late on that day. But I stay really late as well. So Mondays, no big deal. I get on 45 South, which is, huge road, and no big deal. I can get to my office, no big deal. Tuesdays, inevitably, I'm sitting in traffic, man. Just sitting there. Like, it'll take me 20 to 25 minutes longer, which is double the amount of time it takes me total to get to my office.
Right.
On Tuesdays. Thursdays, the same way. Wednesday, I have no idea what the rate is. But here's my guess, completely anecdotally. After COVID, so many people were like, you know what? We can let you work from home.
Right.
And save office space money. And you can still get your work done. There's Zoom. There's all the things you need, and maybe you're going to have a happier home life. This is going into that whole conversation of everybody wants a bigger house so they can get an office and all those sorts of things, right?
Right.
But recently, I've got one or two friends specifically that are going, our employer is now requiring us to come in to the office once or twice or maybe even 3 times a week. And so Monday's not that day.
Right.
Friday's not that day. Tuesdays and Thursdays, and possibly Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, those are the days.
Right.
And they are the heavier traffic days. And so I think that's what's happening. And so I think that some companies have said, no, we still need that togetherness. We still need you to be in the office sometimes. But even then, obviously, there's plenty of offices available, so most of them hadn't done that.
Right. Well, and
I'm sure it's not just offices. There's storefronts too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's not just offices.
Yeah, you're seeing like the shopping centers. I mean,
Right.
that is included in these numbers.
Which they're still building them like crazy in Conroe right now.
I know.
Shopping centers are going up everywhere, and in Montgomery too.
They have to, because they already have the money, and they can't not use the money. And so like
They have to put them up.
So
Interesting.
because once you borrow that money, man.
Yeah, you got to. Yeah.
So
that's crazy.
But anyway,
I knew it was going to be high. Whenever you said that, I knew that I was going to go, wow, that's, I'm not shocked, because it stands to reason that there's going to be more offices open because more people are working from their home, et cetera, whatever. I never thought it would be approaching a fifth.
Right.
Of all of the commercial real estate.
Well, it's more than a fifth. I mean,
19.6, 20 would be a fifth.
Well, that's the national average.
That's what I'm saying. But in Houston, we're approaching a quarter.
Right.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. Yeah. So here's what I think is happening. I think you're right on when you say, like, there's employers that offered remote work, and now they're saying, hey, yeah, you can work remotely, but you still need to come in the office from time to time. And because, I think it used to be that you could incentivize your employees to come in because you could offer them upward mobility, and part of that upward mobility is getting your own private office. And so like that used to be the thing, right? Is you want to move into the corner suite.
Right.
No one cares about that anymore.
Right.
They care about the money.
I'd rather have that money to put into a home,
right,
that I can put a corner office in my home.
Yep. they care about money.
Yeah.
They care about respect.
Yes.
And they care about position.
That's it.
And so like you can't incentivize them with a better office because like they've now realized you don't necessarily need that.
I don't need that.
And like I don't get any status from that.
Nope.
when I'm working from home.
No, because nobody's passing me in the office.
Right.
And I'm not in a place where if I didn't want people to pass me, now they can't because I'm in a corner, right? There's whatever, right? There's no reason for it.
Right. And you don't get held up in as many stupid meetings
No.
that waste your time.
Nope.
I mean, so there's all these things that they've begun to realize about like the negative aspect of working at an office. Well, the employers have started to figure out, well, like there's actually some positive things from having your people here.
Right.
Is like you can
Yes.
actually, have some accountability,
More monitoring.
and actually like, hey, like we know that secretly at home you've been getting done in 2 days what it used to take you a week to get done.
Right.
So if you can get done in 2 days what it used to take you a week, why can't you just get more done?
Right.
Why can't you be more productive for the company? And the only
Right.
way we can hold you accountable to that is by having you come into the office.
Right.
So
It's a catch-22.
yes. And so there's this, and so, but when you don't have the office incentive as like a status symbol for your company, well, then you just have one big common workspace
Right.
in the middle.
Right.
And so you don't need the square footage that you used to. Even if you had like 50 employees, you could operate off half
Right.
of the square footage that you might have had before.
Well, this actually happened with one of our mutual nonprofit friend groups.
Uh-huh.
They moved from a pretty decent size office area to like tiny offices. You know what I'm talking about?
I think so.
And they moved down from like right there on 1488 down to the Woodlands.
Yes.
So you probably know exactly what I'm talking
I
about.
do know. It
And-
moved to
and
like
they
a
said-
room.
Yeah.
Like-
Yeah. Like
and-
their office is a quarter of this size of space.
Yeah.
But they now have different meeting rooms and like things that they
Access to
actually
shared
need.
areas,
And she
yeah.
said it was the same price.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Crazy.
Well, the crazy part is that you're paying that much for non-privacy.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's still a lot of money, and that's part of the reason. But at the same time, it's like they're actually where more of their donors are.
Yeah.
In many ways, I think that's part of it. But yeah, it's crazy. I want to bring this up really quick. So I'm putting it up on the screen right now. Roger Garza says, move our symbol here. Monday, Thursday, and Friday are easy to get into Austin when I work. Most work from home those days, from what I've heard, is what he said. So Monday, what he's saying is Monday, Thursday, and Friday are.
This
are
is someone
days-
commenting on the.
Yeah. So
Okay.
basically, what that means is that Tuesday, Wednesday are the days that employers are asking people to come in.
That makes sense.
Yeah, which it does to me too. I mean, again, anecdotally, I'm noticing that Tuesdays and Thursdays are the worst. Mondays are nothing.
Yeah.
and
Nobody wants to
Fridays
work
are
on Mon-
nothing.
Yeah.
And so, but I don't know what Wednesday is. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Well, it's like people expect us to have this information like we have regular jobs.
neither one of us have regular
Yeah.
jobs. I mean, you're out in it. I mean, you're driving all over the place. So
I haven't gone to an office in years.
no,
I even have an office. I don't go to it.
no, you don't need to.
I don't want to,
No, why would you?
and I don't have to, so I don't.
Yeah, I mean, you love the people at your office on your own time.
Honestly, like here's the weird part, man, is I have an office.
Yeah,
No one works in it.
no,
Like it has we use it for inventory.
okay,
We use it to house some files and other miscellaneous office things that we need from time to time.
that's it.
But no one really works in there. I mean, everybody that works for me works from home or in a
Well,
truck.
yeah. Well, and for what you're doing, that's all they need to do.
Yeah.
That's it.
And like part of what makes that productive is hiring the right people.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
You-
again,
if you're gonna have a remote business, you need people who are self-motivated.
right, you have to recognize that, like, when you're working and you're not self-motivated,
Yeah.
then you're going to be unproductive anywhere, but really you're going to be unproductive if you're at your house.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You're going to be super unproductive.
Which I mean, maybe like the main point of that we need to get across to people in this episode. If you're a at-home employee, make sure that you have a plan in place to be productive.
Yeah, and probably also, like, not just a plan for productivity, which I think that's definitely that, but also like some sort of like reasonable and accountability for yourself to go, look, I was actually on the clock during these hours. You can see that I was on my computer. You can see this, that, and the other. Like I was working, and because, again, your job, your employment status is tied to your productivity.
Always. Oh, hands down.
Always.
Yeah.
So, I mean, make sure that you're doing it. I mean, dude, I was talking to someone just the other day, in the same industry that I'm in, actually, and their employer told them, we want you to do this. And he was like, okay. And so it wasn't anything big. It was not a big deal. I'll tell you about it later.
Okay.
And a year later, they gave him a full year before they even checked up on him. And they were like, hey, did you do that thing? And he was like, no. And they're like, what? Why? And he was like, I really didn't want to. And they were like, what?
That has nothing to do.
Right. Like, it's like, what? What is happening right now?
Yeah.
What in the world? You got a year to do a simple thing. It was simple, dude. Simple. If they did it one time, they wanted him to do it regularly. But if he did it one time, he could have at least been like, you know what? I did it this one time and it didn't work out. Whatever.
Right.
Didn't do it one time. And I'm just like, come on, man.
For like a whole year.
For a whole year.
So I think there's actually two people at fault there.
No, I don't disagree.
Yeah.
I don't disagree. There should have been more accountability, but you get it.
Oh, yeah.
You get it more than we're talking about, but you get it.
Yeah.
But even still, that person should have been like, you know what? They asked me to do it. I'm going to go do it.
Yeah.
And if not, if you really don't want to, have a conversation.
Yeah. But on the flip side of that, I think it's very unfair to be upset about it.
Yeah.
When you didn't think it was important enough to follow up with for a year.
That's fair.
I mean, like that feels like a trap to me.
Yeah. I'm
like,
fine with
here's what I know is most employers know when they ask their employees to do something, whether or not they're going to want to do it.
That's true.
And so you're not asking them to do it because you want to do it and you just want to hand off this really fun task to them instead.
Right.
No, you are asking them to do something probably that you don't enjoy either.
Sure.
And so if you don't follow up with them on that, then it really wasn't important to you in the first place to even get it done. And so
I'm not going to disagree.
I'm not
with you
saying
on that
I'm not
all.
saying that they shouldn't have done it. They totally should have done it.
Sure.
They asked them to do it, should have done it. And by responding, well, I really didn't want to.
Yeah.
I mean, then you should have come and had a conversation.
Different
with me.
conversation for the
yeah. So, but not following up for a year.
That's messed up.
And then assuming over those 365 days that it was being done.
Yeah, it's messed up.
That's stupid.
Yeah, I agree.
So
Completely agree.
yeah. So, but like, why should I not be surprised when idiots hire idiots? I mean, like, honestly.
Yeah, it's not wrong.
So,
I'm with you.
so anyway.
Good episode, man.
Yeah.
I think I'm curious, like, did anybody else find those numbers with the commercial real estate stuff staggering? And if so, send us a message. You can get us at info@homeownershow.com. You can also send us a message on Facebook or Instagram. We'll find you.
Yeah, let's get our stuff together, Houston.
Yeah, we'll
let's get those numbers better.
That's exactly right. It's not that big of a deal. We'll respond. And look, if you haven't already done it, why have you not subscribed? Why have you not told your friends about us? We're cool. Well, mostly. But go leave us a rating or review. We would really like that. Until next time, y'all. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you later.
See you.